Even all remarks here, back again with another video, back again with another Oculus Quest and Oculus Go video, and we're going to be checking out Immersed VR. Now, Immersed VR has been out for a while for Mac only. It's essentially like virtual desktop, so it allows you to control your Mac and now your PC via your headset. So you can sort of log in a VR environment, have your screens up, do your work in VR. So still use your mouse and keyboard to work, but use your headset as big virtual screens. And if you had more than one monitor connected, you can have them all up at the same time, switching between them, which is pretty cool. So as I say, it's now available for PC as well. And they've now just updated it, including co-working. So what that means is you can essentially go to a virtual coffee shop and sit next to other people in VR with their avatars and chat with them while you do your work. So you're logged in, you're doing your work on your PC with your PC screens up. They're logged in with their PC screens doing theirs. You can't see each other's, but that is something that is coming soon in a collaboration update. But for co-working, which is what we're going to be talking about mainly today, it allows you to kind of, essentially sort of, adds that sort of social sort of chatting environment to your workers. So if you're working remotely, maybe you don't work in the same office as your co-workers, you still can with this. So you can be sitting next to them, still working, still chatting, still discussing ideas, throwing stuff around, have a little bit of a meeting, but be working from home. So it's pretty cool. So we're going to set up Immersed VR on my PC. I'm going to show you how to do all of it. It's pretty cool. Let's check it out. So Immersed isn't available on the Oculus Store directly, so don't go searching for it on there on your headset or on your phone. It's just not there. What you do need to do is go to immersedvr.com, which is this website here, and scroll down and it tells you all about it, how it works, all that sort of good stuff. But if you want to kind of crack on and get using it, we can just click on try for free. That'll take you to this page here, and it tells you all the different sort of tiers that you can get into for it. At the moment, when you sign up, you get 14 days of elite membership. So that gives you pretty much all the features you can imagine, does lots of cool stuff. So at the basic level, it allows you to share your PC screen to your VR headset in a VR environment. The free account only does public co-working, so that means that you can't create your private rooms. You can only go into public ones, like proper sort of coffee shops, I guess, and sit down and work with people. But if you sort of upgrade to these kind of additional ones, you get additional features like you can see here. If they've got a star on them, it does mean those features are still being worked on. So this is absolutely something that they're working hard on. They're adding features pretty quick and often, so it's worth kind of checking back and sort of see what they're doing. Keep an eye on it on your headset when it gets updated and to see what's been added. But here we go. What you get with the 14-day free trial of Elite is some pretty cool features. So you can share multiple screens. So if you've got more than one screen connected to your Mac or PC, you can have them up at the same time to work from them. That's pretty cool. You can also have virtual monitors on Mac. What the software will do is emulate a second monitor. So you don't need monitors connected to your PC. It'll bring up a second one or a third one or a fourth one or a fifth one. It says it can do 5 for Mac. And you can have 5 emulated screens and drag and drop things, different programs, whatever, onto those. Pretty cool. It's not available on PC yet, but if you do have multiple monitors connected to your PC, you can do those. What I do have is one of these things connected to my PC. There we go. It's like a little sort of HDMI sort of adapter. It's like a little faker. And what it does is it plugs into a HDMI port on my PC and allows me to kind of fake a second screen. And you get that come up in sort of VR. So I'll show you that in a second. So all you need to do is just click Get Immersed. Sign up. So it says here, step 1, you need a Go or a Quest. I assume you've got one of those if you're watching this video. Secondly, sign up here to accept the invitation. So what you need to do is choose one of these two here. So if you've got a Quest, click on the Quest. If you've got a Go, click on the Go. Download Immersed and be immersed. So click on the Quest because that's what I'm using at the moment. Enter your email address here. That'll send you an email with a link to the app that you download on your PC and also the code to redeem the app on your headset. So what you need to do is when you get that sort of 16-digit code in the email, grab that, open up the mobile app on your phone, so the Oculus mobile app, go down to settings, bottom right hand corner, scroll down and you'll get a redeem code option. copy and paste it into there. So if you're on your phone, you're checking your emails, copy, paste, sorted. If you do need to, you can go to oculus.com, log into your account there, your Oculus account, and paste in your sort of code there if you prefer. And then you just need to go to not installed apps on your headset, so library not installed, and grab and make sure you install the app there. So once it's installed, you're sorted there. You'll also get a desktop bit of software that you need to install as well, so that link is in that email as well. So download and install that, and that's this here. So this little sort of immersed icon. Put in your Oculus username and click save username, and you're sorted. So it's a pretty straightforward process. As I say, check that email, go through the steps on the email, super simple. And then once you're ready, all you need to do is jump in your headset and check it out. So once you've entered your code into your app, you just need to go into your headset, go down to your library. On the left hand side, go to not installed. If you haven't got it installed already, I already have, so it's here. So it's in my normal apps, just click open. Bear in mind how I'm recording this, you may see a little bit of screen tearing. That's not anything to do with the app, that's just the way I'm recording it. Unfortunately can't be kind of avoided. My PC monitor screens have already popped up because I've already been using this, so it's remembered me. But what you should do when you first start up is click on your sort of analog stick on one of your touchpads. It'll bring up this menu here, and it should be able to see your desktop here. It may give you an option that says something along the lines of enter your Oculus name in the desktop app. So on the desktop, you get the little app, you enter your little your Oculus name in there, and then it should sort of connect the two between the two and appear here. So once you've kind of done that connection, you can click connect, and then it should pop up your two monitors, or however many monitors you connected. So with PC, it'll show every connected monitor to your PC. So if you've got 3 monitors plugged into your PC, they'll all appear here. On Mac, it's the same, but with Mac, you can actually sort of emulate screens. So you can actually fake additional screens. With PC, what I've done, I've got 2 screens here, even though I only have 1 monitor. And what I have done is I've bought this thing up here. So if I use my actual mouse, click up here, I've bought this HDMI sort of little plug, dummy plug, headless ghost display emulator. People use these, I think, for sort of mining cryptocurrency, but it basically gives you a second monitor, but with only that little sort of plug there. So you plug that into your spare HDMI on your PC, laptop, whatever, and then you get an additional fake screen. So here, I've got this other screen on the right hand side. So this is my main one on the left. On the right, I can sort of be checking my sort of socials and other stuff on the right hand side, and being able to do all that cool good stuff. So they're pretty cool. They're only sort of £6 for one, £9 for 2. I bought 2 just because it got to me quicker. But you can buy as many as you want, as many plugs as you've got. But they are bringing the emulated software screens to PC in the future. But for now, if you want extra screens, you just need to buy some of those. But now we're in here, you basically use your sort of controllers, so your touch controllers for your Quest or even your Oculus Go, just to kind of set the settings of this and move things around. And then you still use your keyboard and mouse to control things. And the idea is that, you know, you take your laptop with you or your PC, you sit down in front of it, you're still sort of working on it in normal fashion, and you're sort of looking around and sort of controlling things. So if you're using your touch controllers here, you can grab your screens up here, you can move them wherever you want, you can use your analog stick to kind of push them back and push them further away or closer. You can also grab the corner to make them actually bigger, because making them bigger doesn't make them further away. You need to use the different settings here, but it works pretty well. You can swap these around however you wish, whichever side you want them to be. And although you can technically control your screens a little bit with your touch controllers, as I say, you're still really kind of expected to use your sort of PC mouse and keyboard to properly control them. But you've got some other options down here. You can bring up a sort of keyboard which isn't for you to type on, but the idea is if you're not sort of the best touch typer, you can actually sort of see which keys you're pressing. You sort of see that's not me sort of clicking on, that's me actually using my proper keyboard. So you can kind of get a feel for it. So I know some people, me included actually, with this keyboard, it's kind of still kind of new. I'm not the fastest speed typer on that keyboard. So that might help some people, but you can turn that on and off nice and easy. The menu option is there as well, but as I say, you can click in your analog stick to bring that up, and it's pretty cool. So you can have, as I say, as many monitors as you've got. And the idea is becomes kind of like a virtual working space where with the online features, you can kind of just, team up with, might not team up with them as in work on the same project, but you can be chatting with them as if you sat in the same office or coffee shop with them. So you're working on your screen, they're working on theirs. But we'll get into that in a second. And what we'll do is we'll join the CEO of Immersed, Renji, and have a chat with him about it. So we're going to do that in a second. But before we do that, let's just press our sort of touch analog stick in again and just go through some of these options so you can sort of see. Social is what we'll touch on in a second. You've got worlds here. So I've got the space environment set up at the moment because I like it nice and simple. But you do have these really crisp looking 3D environments that you kind of sit in. And if you're doing sort of co-working type stuff, people sit with you here as well, which is pretty cool. So you've got this kind of apartment type thing. Everyone sits in their own little chairs. You've got this where you kind of look up above the clouds. Pretty cool. You've got a space one. They've all got sound going on, so you can kind of hear space sounds if you want to chill out. Oh, there's the Earth. Look, we're in a space station around the Earth. Or this one here, which feels like some sort of Mount Olympus type thing. Pretty cool. But you also have on the left-hand side the option for just kind of like backgrounds. So 360-degree photos. This one's just the void. I kind of prefer those sort of things, but I know a lot of people like real backgrounds. So you've got various other things here that range from fields to mountains. It would be nice maybe in the future we get the option to add our own 360-degree photos in here, but for now this is pretty cool. It's nice to have the options. And then we go into settings and we can kind of make our monitors themselves brighter, more contrast, add more gamma, reset the color levels, all that sort of good stuff, which is quite cool. Quality settings, you can kind of increase the super sampling, which I would probably keep it as high as you can, because it just makes the text a little bit crisper. But if you find that you're draining your battery a bit too much and you just bring the screens closer to you, you can turn that down a little bit. What I would say is if you do have a screen, you can actually physically get closer to the screens with the Oculus Quest. With the Go, unfortunately, you will need to grab it and bring it to you. Fixed foveated rendering just kind of reduces battery drain as well, but what it does do is it makes kind of the outside bits of your vision a little blurrier. But you probably know that already. Sound settings are in here as well, so you can change the background volume, turn it up and down if it gets a bit too noisy in the kind of nice 3D environments. And then voice volume. So this is voice volume for other people that you join in multiplayer co-work. So let's move on to what makes this different to some of the other propositions out there, and that's the kind of co-working aspects where it's almost like a coffee shop where you can jump in, edit and do whatever you want to do on your PC, control your PC, your screens, and chat along with other people as you go in, maybe asking them for advice and that sort of thing. So let's just grab these screens a little bit, move them out of the way slightly, because what we want to do is click in our sort of controller button on our touchpad, our touch controller, and go to the social tab. So social, you can now join a friend, accept invitations, public co-working spaces, so they do actually set up some random spaces that you can just join with random strangers, or you can create a room. So we're going to create a room here. So literally create a room, you choose how many people, up to 7, friends, collaboration, or co-working. So we'll choose co-working because I believe they're still working on the collaboration side, but co-working is the one being launched today. It should then sort of refresh, our screens should come back up again. Here they are. And on the right hand side you've got a list of whoever's in the room. At the moment it's just me, and we want to invite Renji, which is the CEO of VR Immersed. So let's click on Renji there, and that should invite him in. There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. So you're the big dog at VR. Oh, I'm sorry, Immersed VR. And this is your baby, I guess. The whole project and everything you're releasing today. How's it gone so far today with the launch?
Yeah, it's been going well. We just announced it along with sort of a sort of revamp of remote collaboration altogether, sort of a friends list type thing that we're releasing as well this week. Yeah, it's been going well. I mean, we've been at this for about 6 to 12 months. Really gotten it to a point of usability on solo mode, and now we're actually like starting to move into the remote collaboration side of things now.
Yeah, so we've got our actual avatars here with 2 hands if we use our controllers, so we can sort of wave and talk to each other. Which is something people always ask for. They like to see each other, even if you're not actually sort of interactive physically. It's nice to kind of have that kind of physical sort of person to look at. I think it
Yeah,
does
it
have.
actually feels like you're sitting right next to me.
Yeah, exactly, and you can have 7 other people in your room with you. So that's quite a crowd, to be fair.
Yeah.
So this is the co-working. So what's the idea behind co-working in particular? What's the difference between that and
Yeah.
collaboration?
So a lot of our users who have been working in solo mode for the past 6 to 12 months, we've noticed that they've actually been working together individually, but like talking together on Discord, right? So not necessarily collaborating on the same stuff. They work at different companies. However, they're just chatting throughout the day about random topics on Discord. And so they mentioned that it's a very sort of similar experience to as if they were sitting next to each other at a coffee shop, working on their own individual items. And then whenever there's something they wanted to randomly share or talk about, they just so happen to be sitting side by side. So co-working being doing your own work near each other versus collaboration being, hey, I'm sharing my screen, I'm working with you on the same project.
Yeah, so you're sort of sat at a coffee shop with your own laptop in front of you, and someone's across from
Hmm.
you, and they're not kind of peering over your shoulder, looking at what you're doing. You may
Correct.
still chat about it, but they're not seeing what you're doing. Whereas I guess co-working, you said you're
Yeah.
still working on that. That will be exactly that, where people can literally sit together, control one PC together, or multiple, and kind of help each other and guide each other. But that's
Exactly.
coming. That's still being worked on. So, but for now, it's co-working, which I think is still pretty cool. At the moment, I think you did touch on sort of friends list. At the moment, you have to be kind of friends on Facebook. But later this week, you said there's going to be friends list and a proper friends list to add people,
Correct.
which I think.
Yeah,
Well,
actually, it might even be later today.
oh, okay.
We might actually release later
So
today.
before I even probably get a chance to put this video out, you may put that
Yeah.
update in. So if it is there, you just like you
Yeah.
saw me sort of add people at the moment. When I invited you, that was my friends list on Facebook. But you add what would it be, like usernames or what sort of friends
Correct. So
list?
it would go by Oculus usernames. Right now, we're only
Okay.
on the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Go, mainly because those are sort of the more popular standalone headsets.
Sure.
And we want users to be able to use sort of everyday hardware as far as their laptops go, right? So most of our users actually are not gamers. Most of them are just young working professionals who have like a Mac Pro or a Windows laptop, and they can see their multiple monitors in VR. But that being said, the current VR headsets that actually work for that type of setup are the Oculus Go and Quest. So because of that, we're mainly just sort of on the Oculus platform for now. We can leverage
Yeah.
things like Oculus username.
And I guess you bring up a good point there. Is that I'm on PC. You can't see my screen at the
Mhm.
moment because that's not how this particular room
Correct.
works. But I've got 2 monitors up at the moment because I've got one of those dongles plugged into my
Mhm.
HDMI port,
Yeah.
which technically gives me another monitor. But on Mac, you can actually emulate
Mhm.
that. So one Mac with one screen can have more than one monitor, and that's something that's
Correct.
coming to Windows at some point. It's something you're working on, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. So on Mac, you can have up to 5 software-driven monitors, so like fake virtual monitors that are emulated with 100% just software. But
That's
we
pretty
are
cool.
working on a PC version of that as well, where hopefully later this year you'll be able to spawn up to 5 monitors as well without needing any sort of extra hardware.
Yeah, because was it Immersed was almost the virtual desktop of Mac, wasn't it? Because Mac doesn't have virtual desktop,
Yeah.
and you guys were originally sort of pushing that. I know that's one of the
Exactly.
biggest
Yeah.
questions I always get with virtual desktop is, does it work on Mac? No, it doesn't. But so,
Yeah.
so this is pretty cool, and the social aspects is something that you don't get on virtual desktop, so that makes it very different. It feels very much a
Yeah.
kind of hybrid between virtual desktop and big screen. It's kind
Yeah.
of
Very
treading that sort
similar.
of middle ground. They all seem to have their own uses, but
Yeah.
this is kind of
So,
that sort of
uh,
social sort of working
yeah.
together
So,
and
so big screen is sort of yeah. So big screen is sort of like focused on like entertainment, movies, etc. Some people, if you have the wired Rift or wired headsets, you could actually game on it pretty well. But when it comes to wireless, like the Oculus Go or the Oculus Quest, you probably want to use virtual desktop. But virtual desktop only allows one screen at a time. So virtual desktop, although it's very fast, solo mode, and it's one screen. Big screen is social. You could do sort of a multi-screen type showing type thing. However, when it comes to wireless, it's just not as performant. So, which is why we really want to focus on how do you get multiple people to be able to work on their computers together, and really just on standalone headsets, similar to virtual desktop, but again, the social aspect of big screen as well.
yeah, cool. And what's the kind of plan then, sort of short term, with Immerse? What sort of things I guess you obviously got friends lists and that sort of thing, but is there anything else that we should be aware of that's coming sort of over the coming weeks and months?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's actually a lot of sort of different things, even just like on our website that we show that we're working on, as far as things like offline mode, right? If you're on like an airplane, for example, right? You don't have access to the internet, you don't have access to a router. You still want to have your multiple monitors in VR so that, everyone else around you is not staring at your laptop, right? And you can still be productive on multiple screens. So offline mode is coming out in a couple of months. There's a sort of a couple of things around getting hands into VR as well without using controllers, which is actually is going to be a pretty revolutionizing part of our product as well.
Can you explain
Things like
how
virtual
that'll work?
typing.
Is that all top secret?
A lot of it is top secret, but at the very sort of high level, essentially we're using your laptop webcam to detect your hands using our software, and
Okay.
so it can really do away with these controllers I'm having to use right now, which
That's it.
everyday people don't really know how to use.
And I guess for using this experience, you don't really need the controllers. Or if anything, it probably actually works a little bit better on the Oculus Go because you only have one controller. You can easily sort of put that in a pocket or
Yeah.
not lose it. Where you've got two controllers with the Quest, it's probably not as convenient with the Quest having these two controllers. But yeah,
Correct.
if you could kind of just pick up your hands and still have that kind of hand motion and sort of because we
Yeah.
communicate with our hands. I know I do. People comment on my videos all
Yeah.
the time that I'm waving my hands around. so, so to be able to do that in
even
VR,
things like yeah, but even things like whiteboarding as well, right? Grabbing a virtual whiteboard marker with my bare hands and whiteboarding as if I'm actually side by side with you,
Sure.
right? That's sort of something that a lot of companies would desire as well. On top of things like conference rooms, even just sort of customized workspaces that are, like Google themed or Salesforce themed or whatever it is, to give employees sort of that camaraderie that they have when they work at a specific company, right? There's a lot of features around that as well.
and I've got a whiteboard at the moment, and you can't see that because it's a co-working. Or can you see that?
Correct. For co-working, it's our own individual whiteboards, but when we
Okay.
change into collaboration mode, we can actually share that together. However, the current whiteboard that's in here is sort of a proof of concept. It's not. We're going to be revamping that in the coming month.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only a few options. It's not sort of the smoothest, but
Yeah.
so it'd be cool.
Yeah, it's not very usable right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the only thing I struggle with is trying to erase things. You've only got a little box to try and scribble
Yeah.
things out. But that's cool. That's cool though to be able to kind of scribble on. I guess could you scribble on a picture or a photo? Is that something that potentially could come up so you can kind of go, oh yeah, change this, change
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be on top of that. Like it's sort of that's on the roadmap as well. There's just a lot of sort of use cases that we haven't even really sort of begun to discover that people are bringing up. We're
Yeah.
really just focusing on how do we sort of get multiple monitors into VR and how do we get whiteboards for people to work on together, and then from there sort of iterate thereon.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
There's actually a pretty cool application that we're focusing on as well, as far as how do you get people to be 2x or 3x more productive in VR than in real life. And so there's sort of a lot of things around deep work. How do you get people to be in a mode of deep work for longer periods of time and more frequently, right? So later on this year, we're actually going to be releasing something called focus mode, right? Where it sort of integrates with your laptop, turns on do not disturb, blocks social apps, it really sort of turns on like brain music. If you ever heard of Brain FM, things like that, essentially just a bunch of sort of micro improvements to enable you to focus a lot more effectively and just be a lot more productive, right? So
Awesome. Yeah.
that's something that we're really, really excited about as well. Yeah, that corporations and enterprises and just sort of employees are looking forward to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's the great thing about VR is it is immersive. You are in here. This is all you can
Yep.
see. So yeah, if you can kind of bring it all in and tie it all in and focus people down, that seems like a win-win
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, and something that's been extremely interesting is a lot of our users have actually been using Immerse for the exact opposite of our initial intent, which is, initially we intended people to use it as a social collaboration app. But a lot of our users have been bringing the headset into the office to actually ignore their coworkers, right? To sort of be in a distraction-free environment.
Yeah, well, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. Okay, that all sounds really cool. A lot of work going on, a lot of work still to do. And I guess it would be interesting to kind of see how this develops. So I would encourage you to keep me in the loop. I'd be definitely interested to kind of see how this goes. And I'd be interested to kind of test this out with my community because they can obviously grab it now. It's on the website. Well, I've gone through the process of how to set it all up and get hold of it, sort of thing. So it's time for everyone to jump in and start working together, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah. And also another thing is, like, because we are currently an enterprise app, we actually distribute keys through our website, like you mentioned. So hopefully maybe someday we can create a consumer version as well that will just be on the Oculus store. But we'll see how that fleshes out over time.
Is that actually what, I guess, what we've got you actually, is that a conscious choice for you? You didn't want it on the actual store just yet? You want to kind of control it a little bit more? Is that why it's like through your website?
Like, so the thing is, we want to start with a smaller group of users who really love a certain type of product, as opposed to just broadcasting to the world and really just having a lot of the same things over and over. We've noticed that with big screen and virtual desktop, and we don't want to sort of make the same mistakes. And so we'd rather people who are highly targeted come to our website and iterate on a specific product for them that can then be monetized. It's sort of a different approach. But as we grow as a company, we do want to create a free consumer version.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want to kind of spread it out, maybe adapt it, change it, create 2 versions, whatever works. And I guess the feedback that you get from this is, I guess that's something you want to hear. If anybody has any feedback, any sort of questions about this, any suggestions of what they'd like to see, drop you guys an email. I guess you're on your website. I'm sure you've got a contact you bit.
Yeah. Also, the Immersed community on our Discord chat, we have a feedback channel that you guys can sort of give it, report bugs, give us feedback, your requests, etc.
Sure, perfect. I'll leave a link to their Discord. I've actually got it up here on screen at the moment. The Discord, so everyone can jump in and leave you feedback. So thank you, Renji, for joining me. It's been cool. I will wrap this video up separately, but good luck with it, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We appreciate your time, Mark.
So there we go. There's a quick look at Immersed, how to set it all up, all the good features that it's got. I do have it plugged in, just so you know, into my PC, but that was more for recording and power. You don't need that plugged in when you're sort of actually using it yourself. It is totally wireless to your PC. This little box that people keep asking me about, that's my microphone. It's called the Rode Wireless Go, so that's not included or anything like that. But it all works pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with it. Speaking to Renji, he did confirm to me as well that they're working with somebody to revamp the entire UI, so it'll look better and better as time goes on. So at the moment, it's maybe a little bit simple looking. There's not a sort of ton of flair to it, but as they kind of progress, they're sort of improving it over time. It's going to be a pretty interesting app to keep an eye on. So yeah, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Is this something you think you might get some use out of? I think for me, the co-working environment is kind of interesting because we can now have an 8-player chat room essentially here, and once they introduce the proper sort of friends list that uses your Oculus friends list, that would be quite good as well, rather than using friends, because I don't want to be adding all you weirdos onto my Facebook, but I'm quite happy to add all of you weirdos onto my Oculus friends list. So if you want, add me onto friends. I'm Remarcus, obviously on there, and I'll accept all your invites on Oculus, and maybe, you know, we'll do some co-working. Maybe I'll try and edit a video one time in one of those environments, and you guys can come chat to me while I'm doing it. I do know that some of the things on PC are still being worked on as well, so bear in mind things like the sound from the PC doesn't go to the headset, but you'd probably still be looking to use your headset that you have connected to your PC anyway, especially kind of if you're in that kind of environment, like if you are taking your laptop and your headset to a coffee shop or even to work, like Renji was saying. Some people use it to try and actually hide from co-workers and isolate themselves. So you probably pick up your headset anyway, but that's all stuff that they're working on. So hopefully we'll get that in time. As I say, really do take the time to share your feedback. If you use this, the free 14-day trial, why not? Give it a go. It's free. And then test it all out. Let them know what your feedback is, because it sounds like they're really kind of keen to make this the best possible thing they can. So really do take the opportunity to shape it. So if you find that you could use it a certain way and a certain feature might help, let them know. Let them know. Well, I found it really interesting, so let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. But if you found this video useful or helpful, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. That's fine. I'm big enough and nuggly enough to take it. But do let me know in the comments down below why you didn't like it. I'll try and do better for next time. Become one of the Remarkables. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified when I next upload a video. And that's me done. I'm out. Have a virtual high five.